So Nisha, what toy from your childhood is still going?
Probably the Tamagotchi.
Oh man, have you fed it? It's probably not doing very well if it's not been fed since childhood, Nisha.
It's been about 20 years, so no.
Oh God. Rip in peace all those Tamagotchis from 20 years ago that haven't been fed. Given that it's highly likely at least some people watching this are doing so from a cracked iPhone screen, I'm probably not going to blow anyone's mind when I tell them that modern technology, despite how impressive it is still kind of flimsy. Something that contrasts quite starkly with the design philosophy behind the humble Tonka truck, a toy so sturdy it could literally survive being stomped on by an elephant. For the sake of accuracy, the official name of the famed Tonka truck that we're talking about was the Tonka Mighty Dump Truck. That was its name in all the marketing, but I believe it just became colloquially known as the Tonka truck. But there were many trucks made by Tonka, but I think the most famous one is that big yellow dump truck, which I had and would fill with my other lesser toy cars and would roll down a small hill outside of my house. And that was my fun with my brother, just building towers of those cheap 99p toy cars you would get from Poundland. Do you know, like the Poundland boxes?
Yes.
We have like 30 different cars.
Yeah.
Get them and just roll my Tonka truck down the hill into them. It's my Tonka trucks. Fucking love that thing.
I used to collect cars, like as well as like Barbies and beanies, everything. I loved cars, and I had one of those car rugs, the road rugs you get.
Oh God, I love that thing. That's so awesome. Yeah, I had one of those car rugs, and I had the Micro Machines toy sets.
Yeah.
That you would open up into a city, and I had the one that opened up into a military base. So what I'd do, me and my brother would combine them, and then we'd get our like dinosaur toys. And the dinosaurs would invade the city, then my Micro Machine tanks would come fight them off. It was, oh, it's so cool. And then like Action Man came in, even though he's 400 foot taller than everything else. It was great. Fucking love it. I've still got a couple of my Action Men. Actually, I think I've got one in the office. Yeah, I do. I'll grab it now.
Oh, nice.
I can show this off. I used to have a shit ton of Action Men when I was a kid. So I'm back on camera now and I have it. And I have, and when my dad moved out of my family home, so he said, I'm going to throw away all your stuff. I'm like, that's fair enough, Dad. You bought it and I've not touched it in years, but I asked him, can I please save one of my Action Men? So I saved my Ninja Action Man, and he still, if it'll show up on camera, has the pop-out knife action and can rotate his arms super foot. And he sits here, but just on constant vigil over the office in the corner with all the other bullshit that we own. But yeah, I have a couple of like old toys from my childhood I saved, so I was like so attached to them, and it's kind of a shame that I didn't keep that Tonka truck. Well, the Tonka Mighty Dump Trucks, apparently it's worth a lot of money today because they're a collector's item, because they represent an era when toys were designed for kids who like to kick the shit out of their belongings.
You can confirm, because you had one of these Tonka trucks, that they were pretty indestructible. So how did they achieve that?
Well, they achieved it by just making them out of the same stuff they make real dump trucks out of. And the ones released later, such as the one that I owned, are actually not as hard-wearing and long-lasting as earlier Tonka trucks, which were made out of automotive-grade steel, whereas their tyres were solid lumps of rubber, which is the exact same stuff dump trucks are made of. And this made it so that those Tonka Mighty Dump Trucks were so impossible to damage that ones made back in the 1960s are still around and still work today, and the ones in hands of collectors look like they're brand new.
All right, so why did they change the design if they were so strong?
Yeah, well, you might be thinking, oh, they must have done it to save costs, because that's always the answer when it comes to why is this thing worse now? It's like, oh, because the company wanted to save money. Well, that actually wasn't the case with the Tonka Mighty Dump Truck, and the reason they changed the design somewhat, I think they would drill holes in the tyres and use slightly thinner steel, is not because they wanted to make it cheaper, but because they had reports from parents that kids couldn't lift them up. So they were so heavy that children couldn't lift them up, so couldn't play with them.
That doesn't surprise me.
I think they weighed about like £9, I think, or something like that when they were first made. Like a solid hunk of steel and rubber,
Jesus.
which made them very hardy, but very difficult for children to play with, which is ultimately what they were made for. Tonka still wanted them to be as hard-wearing as possible, so went to extreme lengths to make sure that despite these changes, that the toys could reliably expect to last for an entire lifetime of play. A commitment we can get to in a little moment, but first we need to address the literal elephant in the room.
So we must know, what is this about an elephant?
Well, Tonka were understandably very proud of the durability and hardiness of their product and commissioned a series of ads to showcase this fact, the most famous of which involved getting an actual elephant to stand on a regular Tonka toy.
Wow.
And for anyone thinking there's some camera trickery at foot there was none. That is a real elephant and a real Tonka truck, and the elephant is indeed being instructed to place its full weight upon it. And the ad ends with the famous tagline of, "A toy shouldn't break just because you play with it." And that to me is a fucking baller move of, yeah, other toy manufacturers, can your shit do this?
Yeah, that is a really strong image to use.
It is, it's a ballsy one as well, and I kind of wish that more manufacturers of products did that kind of stuff today. And instead, you have to rely on just random YouTubers to get, say, an iPhone and hit it with a hammer to see if you can survive that.
Yeah.
And I kind of wish that manufacturers doubled down and went, no, here's us doing it. While that's the most famous Tonka advert, it's not the only one they did, because there's another one that was more aimed at the UK that I remember seeing on television. And it's one of the reasons that I fell in love with the idea of this toy and wanted to have one when I was younger. And it is, they got a Tonka toy and a real-life dump truck and chuck them both off a cliff. They drive the dump truck off a cliff and then throw a Tonka toy after it, and it gets to the bottom and the Tonka toy is fine and the wheel's still moving, you can roll around, you can play with it. The dump truck is dead, it's just completely scrap on the floor. Again, a super striking image that really sells your product well.
Yeah.
And I want more products to start advertising themselves like that. And it pisses me off that they don't, and they have to play it safe. But don't play it safe.
You mentioned earlier that these Tonka truck toys are guaranteed for a lifetime of play.
Yes, and that is something the company who made them, Tonka, while it existed, took very seriously. And Hasbro, when they acquired Tonka, have got their own variation of the guarantee, and it is as follows, that any Tonka toy you buy is guaranteed to work as advertised for an entire lifetime. And if you can prove that you broke a Tonka toy through regular play, you are guaranteed free Tonka products for the rest of your natural life.
So yeah, how would you prove you had a broken Tonka truck?
Well, here's the thing, because the company were very aware of the fact that, yeah, we have a reputation for very sturdy products, so a lot of people like to try and break them just to see if they can, and we don't want people doing that and then making a claim. Because one, that makes our toys look bad, and two, that's not really in the spirit of the agreement. So what they did is, and I shit you not, maintained a team of investigators whose only job was to investigate claims that people had managed to break Tonka toys. And if you sent a letter to the company saying, oh, my kid broke their Tonka toy, we'd like to claim on this guarantee, a team of investigators would arrive at your house and they'd collect the Tonka toy and examine it to make sure that you'd not broken it deliberately, which in itself was difficult, or via unreasonable means such as explosives, which is apparently something people would do. And when Hasbro acquired Tonka, they quite liked the marketing potential of this idea and agreed to honour it all the same, and again maintained a team of investigators who would do nothing but go out and check if people actually managed to break their Tonka toys.
So how many people actually managed to claim that they broke the Tonka truck?
And here's the thing, we don't know, because Tonka and later Hasbro have kept their cards very close to the chest when it comes to this. But if industry rumours are to be believed, there are only 7 people worldwide who have ever managed to make that claim and prove that they managed to break a Tonka toy by playing with it. Which isn't to say that Tonka toys couldn't be damaged or destroyed, because many people have done that, but they didn't do so through regular play, which is what the guarantee is for. But I don't really think they needed to do that when they had literal video evidence of one of those Tonka toys shoulder pressing an elephant, but here we are. Oh man, 90s toys were so fucking rad.
Oh, I love looking at the, you know, those articles that pop up every now and then. It says, oh yeah, remember these 90s toys, and you scroll through and you just feel that nostalgia. You're like, oh, yes.
I still fucking miss Action Man. Action Men were so fucking cool. I had so many. And every now and again, I look at how much vintage Action Men cost, just to have as like, you know, a conversation starter on my mantelpiece, and like they're all really expensive. And I'm like, oh man.
Oh no.
One of the reasons I keep this in the office is because I just look at it and remember all the dumb games me and my brother would make up and play with it.
Yeah.
In that vein, Nisha, was there any games, right, you played as a kid with like the toys that you had that weren't the intended way to play with them, but were fun nonetheless. Like my rolling the Tonka truck down a hill into other toy cars.
Well, when I had my huge beanie collection,
Picture here. Here's Nisha with her 10,000 beanies.
I used to take like a bunch of my favourite ones to my grandparents' house every Sunday, and me and my cousin would like make up stories with them, like they'd get in like relationships and stuff like that. It wouldn't make sense.
So just playing early version of The Sims.
Yeah.
Pairing off your beanie babies.
Yeah, we wouldn't use the real names because obviously each Beanie Baby has a name tag with a name in it.
Yes.
I never used to like the names, so I used to make my own names for them.
Exactly, and which is your right as the owner of that toy. And I sound like such a cranky, crotchety old man when I say I fucking hate that the biggest toy for a lot of kids now is their fucking phone.
Yeah.
And I get it. When I was a kid and I first discovered video games, I'm like, yeah, video games are the shit. I love video games. But I still like feel that pang of sadness. It's like, oh man, kids today will never know like, the simple pleasure of, and this is an actual game I play with my brother, of throwing an Action Man into a tree, getting him stuck, and then for the rest of the afternoon throw sticks at him to get him back out. So that's one of the games me and my brother would play. So there was a big tree near our house, and we'd throw our Action Man into the tree so he'd get stuck. And the game was try and get the Action Man out by throwing sticks at it.
Yeah.
And that was an afternoon for me, and I had so much fun doing that. And I have such strong, vivid memories of just like Ninja starring an Action Man and him getting caught in the wrong kind of branch, and then just throwing sticks at him to get him out. And I find myself thinking, will kids today, when they grow up, have any memories of the time they spent staring at a phone?
Probably not.
It makes me sound so old. Like, yeah, kids today just don't know how much fun I had. And I'm describing I'd spend my youth throwing sticks at a tree, which doesn't sound fun, but it really was for me. And it's a very positive, like, wholesome memory I have in my head. And I'm hoping everyone at home, like, everyone watching this can just see the big dumb smile on my face. I'm like, yeah, it's so fucking cool.
Yeah, there's this time, like, it's pretty funny, but also pretty sad, like, when I was getting rid of toys. You know those dolls you could get, which were, like, band members? You can still,
I think so.
You can still get them now, but you know when Five were a thing, the band Five.
Oh God!
I used to have one of them, like one of their band members as a doll, and used to press a button in the back, and he would sing a part of a song. And I can remember,
that's awful.
I can remember when I chucked him out, and I put him in the bin, and I could hear.
Oh, did you hear him in the bin singing? Well, that was with me, where I had a masked rider toy.
Yeah.
And I had to throw it away because it's one of the toys that my dog got.
Oh.
So we had like half the thing was missing, and the battery in it, when you press it, it's like, I'm bugging out of here. But it started to die, so it just sounded like awful, so I ended up getting rid of that. And then I had another Action Man as a kid, and he was my favourite one because he was my Scuba Action Man. It's the one I'd use in the bath.
Yeah.
And his leg fell off, which was completely unrelated to the fact I used to play with him by throwing him into trees. And what I did is I made him wear a wetsuit.
Yeah.
Because the wetsuit was would hold his leg on. So he'd have a wetsuit that held his leg on so he could still have a leg. And what I would do is, when my brother would mess with me, I would get him by the leg that I knew was disconnected and spin him round. Because the wetsuit would stretch and just turn into a Ninja Action Man star. Like, wah! And I'd dual wield that with my spiky dinosaur. It's like, I'm fucking lethal.
Oh, God. Good times.
Fucking love Action Man. So cool. Yeah. Yeah.